Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Here in West Bloomfield, work is being done every single day to make the four communities that much better. And one of the ways to do that is by bringing together people of different backgrounds and beliefs to find that common goal. And that, of course, transcends to faith. Every month, the Greater West Bloomfield Faith and Community Alliance meets to form a sense of unity and tranquility throughout the city. I had the chance to attend one of their meetings and learn from some of the members as to why this alliance is so important to everybody in Greater West Bloomfield. Responds and helping to make the four communities better and better every single day, even for those of different faiths who come together for a greater purpose.
This organization represents the heart and soul of Greater West Bloomfield. The members of clergy with members in the community come together with a common interest. How can we connect? How can we collectively add greater value, greater insight, and understanding across the entire community?
This was my first experience with being part of a group like this in my professional capacity. I do attend church in my personal life, so I'm familiar with the faith-based organizations and the way they operate and the thought processes. But this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to participate in something like this through a work setting, and it was really nice to see a wide array of different personalities and backgrounds, and people from different walks of life come together and have the same goals in mind.
What is it like to communicate with these big community heads in this way?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so much fun to get to spend time with all of these wonderful, amazing people who are spending their lives leading communities of care and mission and taking care of other folks. It's been a wonderful privilege. It's not just a matter of doing what Methodists do, but when we work together, we can accomplish so much more, have a bigger impact, and come to a greater understanding of who one another is, so that as human beings that are trying to just be the best that we can be in this community, we can do that better when we're working together and coming to common understandings of who we are.
It's great because, to be able to discuss various things that are the same, really. I mean, we're all people, and how we approach, God. Three of the religions come from the same source. So, it's nice to meet the other leaders and their people and find out more about them and how we relate. We're so much more alike than different. And if we look at the likeness or the sameness instead of how we're different, then we can do a lot more for the community and beyond.
I think because the example that we show, it shows people that they can come together too, and it's okay if you're different and come together. You're not always going to agree, but you can find some places of agreement and make an impact on not just your community, but the wider world.
It's great to see the leaders of our community coming together in this way and to make Greater West Bloomfield that much better every single day. Join the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield for a morning of camaraderie, community spirit, and a complimentary continental breakfast as they welcome another inspiring guest to the podium on Tuesday, November 18th at 7:30. Their distinguished guest speaker is Brooke Adams, the energetic and passionate philanthropy director at Life Remodeled, a Detroit nonprofit known for transforming neighborhoods through large-scale volunteer initiatives. Attendees are encouraged to bring friends, neighbors, or family members for what promises to be a motivating and uplifting gathering. Once again, this event is taking place on Tuesday, November 18th at 7:30 a.m. Hope to see a lot of people out there. The Soul Studio Holiday Market invites the community to celebrate creativity and connection this season at the Farber Center. Soul Studio located in West Bloomfield, and it's taking place on Sunday, November 23rd from 10 to 3 p.m. The market will showcase a variety of handcrafted gifts, artwork, and unique creations made by talented Soul Studio artists. Visitors can browse one-of-a-kind pieces perfect for holiday giving while supporting local artistry and inclusion. This festive event, hosted by the Friendship Circle of Michigan, blends art, community, and holiday spirit in a warm and welcoming environment for everybody to enjoy. Sure to be a lot of great pieces of artwork available just in time for the holiday season. November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month, which brings needed attention to one of the most common neurological conditions in the world. Medical experts are working to educate the public on the signs, symptoms, and solutions surrounding epilepsy, with ongoing advancements in treatment, early diagnosis, and community support. This month serves as an important reminder that increased awareness can help improve the lives of millions living with epilepsy. Joining us now on the Splash Live for an important conversation on the topic is vascular neurologist Dr. Stephen Schechter. Dr. Schechter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Hi, Jake. Welcome.
Glad to have you back with us, and for a very, very important topic. As I said, November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month. Can you explain why this awareness is so important for the public and medical community alike?
Yes, definitely, because epilepsy is a neurological condition that can be treated and controlled. Seizures are due to a sudden electrical discharge that occurs within the brain, and this can cause various clinical symptoms like loss of consciousness, loss of awareness, can lead to injury, broken bones, chipped teeth. So recognizing seizures is the first start to finding their cause and working on a treatment plan to prevent them.
That's absolutely right. Now, for those unfamiliar, how would you say, what causes epilepsy to develop in certain individuals?
So there can be many causes. Sometimes the causes are not known, but risk factors for seizures could include certain things like head injuries, traumatic brain injury, or history of previous head trauma. Sometimes it can occur after a stroke or after an infection in the brain, or it might occur due to a chemical imbalance that creates abnormal firing, leading to the clinical event known as a seizure.
Wow, lots of ways that this can happen. And what are some of the most common symptoms or warning signs that someone might be experiencing seizures or could possibly have epilepsy?
So sometimes there is no warning and a seizure can just come very suddenly, but there may be what's known as an aura, like a feeling or a sensation. It could be a rising up feeling out of the stomach, or a change in smell that occurs first. And then as the electrical discharges spread, the seizure can evolve and start to involve motor function. If both hemispheres become affected, there can be a loss of consciousness or a loss of awareness.
Sounds like a very scary situation that we don't want anybody to have to go through. But let's say you're in a situation where you witness somebody having a seizure for the first time. What should somebody do to help this person become comfortable?
So the first thing would be to stay with the patient and help to reduce the risk of further injury. You could, lay the patient down on their side, keep their mouth and airway clear. And if it's a new onset seizure or if it's a prolonged seizure, they really need to go into the emergency room. So you would want to call EMS to get the patient transported so they can begin an evaluation and start medication to control the seizure.
Of course, try to get things under control as quickly as you possibly can. Now, I would imagine in recent years that the treatment and management of epilepsy has evolved over that time. What have you seen, especially with advancements in medication or surgical options with epilepsy?
Yes, definitely. So we have many more medications now that are very effective. The newer medicines not only work better, but they have fewer side effects, and they're easier to take and easier to tolerate. So there's been a lot of advance in terms of controlling the seizures with medication. There are also some other options for the 30% or so of seizures that aren't controlled with drugs. Devices that stimulate the vagus nerve can be looked at. And also there can be some surgical procedures done in more severe refractory cases where the actual scar tissue that is the source of the epilepsy can be removed.
Okay, that's amazing that we've had these developments in these recent years. Now, you said sometimes when it comes to these seizures, they can happen just completely out of nowhere. But I am curious, are there maybe some lifestyle changes or maybe some triggers people with epilepsy should be aware of to help manage their condition in the future?
Yes, definitely. So we call that seizure precautions. And so, for example, sleep deprivation is a known trigger of causing seizures or making them more likely. It can lower the seizure threshold. So getting adequate sleep, making sure you're eating properly, making sure you're not having other uncontrolled medical conditions like high blood pressure that's out of control or diabetes with sugar that's too high. So maintaining, optimal control of existing conditions, avoiding alcohol, avoiding sleep deprivation, and just good common sense, healthy living will help to reduce the risk of seizures.
Yeah, good common sense comes in. That's something everybody should remember and to combat a lot of different things. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with vascular neurologist Dr. Stephen Schechter, talking about National Epilepsy Awareness Month, which this is the month of November, which is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and things to watch out for, symptoms, signs, and what to do when you see somebody or if you know somebody who is struggling with epilepsy. Now, there's a lot of information about epilepsy, a lot of great information, a lot of great resources, but I imagine there's also maybe some misconceptions or some stigmas surrounding the disease. What do you see surrounding epilepsy today in terms of misconceptions?
Sure, there are some, older misconceptions out there that we know are not true. Epilepsy is not contagious. Not all seizures are associated with convulsions necessarily. They can be staring spells or more subtle automatisms like twitching or staring, but not necessarily a full-blown convulsion. Another stigma is that you can't drive with epilepsy. That's not true. You only can't drive for 6 months after a seizure. But if you're controlled beyond that, and you're on seizure medication or not, you can still drive. So that's something to discuss with your treating neurologist about the risks. And the last stigma that sometimes we still hear is that people with epilepsy are challenged intellectually or mentally, and that's not necessarily true either. So most of our patients lead normal lives with optimal seizure control on medication with very effective and well-tolerated treatment options.
It seems like a lot of people think that epilepsy might be some sort of a death sentence and that it's going to take over the rest of your life. And it sounds like that's not the case. And as you said, you could still live a very fulfilling life even while dealing with epilepsy.
Absolutely. That is correct.
And with something like this, how important would you say is early diagnosis? And what kind of testing or evaluation should someone seek if they suspect seizure activity?
Right. So early diagnosis is important because if you have epilepsy, you want to be treated for that, for all of those reasons mentioned, to reduce the risk of uncontrolled seizures, injury, and sometimes uncontrolled seizures can actually cause some damage to certain parts of the brain. So getting it diagnosed and treated is really the goal. The treatment regimen depends on the type of seizure, and the workup to diagnose them would include imaging, advanced imaging with an MRI scan, and doing brainwave testing known as an EEG or electroencephalogram, which is recording and measuring the brainwaves, looking for an abnormal electrical rhythm. Electrical irritability is really the feature that we see on the EEG that is associated with seizures.
You're absolutely right. And it sounds like technology is really playing a huge role today in improving outcomes for people that are living with epilepsy, wouldn't you say?
It is, yes. Advanced imaging studies are now available. There's some devices now that can detect changes in heart rate very early, which is associated with the beginnings of a seizure, and then it can activate or fire a current to prevent the seizure waves from spreading. So there's a lot of technology, a lot of epilepsy monitoring devices, and advanced imaging that can really help us monitor and maintain optimal control.
A lot of valuable resources available for those who need them. Where can people go to gain maybe a little more information or to learn a bit more about epilepsy if they think they might be suffering from it, or if they know somebody who might be having some of those symptoms?
Sure, they can certainly look online or check out the Epilepsy Society webpage. But your best resource is going to be with your neurologist. So if there is clinical suspicion for seizures, one should see a treating neurologist to counsel them and begin a diagnostic evaluation and then start a treatment plan.
Important to check with neurologists just like yourself, Dr. Schechter. We really appreciate you joining us today here on the Splash Live. I have one more question before we let you go. What message would you like to share during National Epilepsy Awareness Month to encourage understanding, compassion, and support for those affected?
I would say there is hope. There is definitely many good treatment options. Like any medical condition, this can be adequately treated. The vast majority of patients can be controlled or become seizure-free with medication. And for those less common, more refractory patients, there are many options still available to treat those patients as well. So it's a treatable condition, and those patients that can receive optimal control, they do very well and continue to lead normal lives.
Great words to remember. Dr. Schechter, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Absolutely. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Of course, a great conversation to have around this time of year. I hope everybody takes away something very valuable from this conversation, and for a lot of things to keep in mind throughout National Epilepsy Awareness Month. With colder temperatures quickly approaching, fun outdoor activities are starting to make their way indoors. And Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield provides the perfect outlet for indoor exercise as it continues to evolve as a cornerstone for youth fitness, creativity, and community connection, with several big developments on the horizon for the fan favorite establishment. Yesterday, I spoke with the owner and founder of Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield, Ralph Tompkins, to hear more. Ralph, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to see you, man. I appreciate you having me on. Let's do it.
Of course, let's do it. Love talking about this. Love going to Swag Kids Gym. Did a package over there about a little over a year ago. Lots of great things to see there. And you've got some big updates coming up with the gym. Care to tell us about them?
Yeah. We've revamped a lot of things inside the gym. We have virtually new programming in terms of things that we offer class-wise for kids and families. So it's really great to have the opportunity to come up with things that are new, that will be engaging and creative for families to enjoy inside the gym. So we're really excited for really the rebirth and relaunch. And I'm actually wearing the new logo of Swag Kids Gym and Entertainment. So we've rebranded just about everything inside the gym and outside, and it's been really great for us to do.
Awesome. Always nice to see a fresh coat of paint on something. Nice to see. And great things still taking place inside. One of the things you were telling me about is a new thing with Swag Kids Gym called the Ivory Room. Could you tell me about that?
Oh, my goodness. The Ivory Room is a new, beautiful addition that gives families really access to a premium modern event space right inside of Swag. So what makes it special is its versatility, right? It's elegant enough for milestone celebrations, yet still very warm and family friendly and kid friendly. So whether it's a birthday party, an event gathering, the Ivory Room really creates a unique atmosphere that really elevates the experience, and it also allows us to offer more event options with more creativity, and really it's a whole new level of fun and experience for all of our families in the community to really enjoy. So we're super excited about the Ivory Room coming to Swag.
Awesome. And I'm sure with the Ivory Room, that means there's going to be a lot of maybe some more special events taking place with Swag in the future, I would imagine.
Absolutely. So the holidays are always really a special time for us to bring families together. We definitely have plans to, in the near future, to do like kid dance events, obviously bring Santa Claus for like a holiday party. And the big thing that we always do every year, our 4th annual year now, will be the New Year's Eve day party that we do. And this year we're actually doing a kids rave party. So we're bringing in special lighting, we're bringing in a DJ and MC, and it's going to be an awesome family experience where they really get to do like a family kids rave party for New Year's Eve day, something that's super special for families to celebrate, bringing in an awesome new year inside of the Ivory Room space. So the space is going to look completely different in comparison to past years that we've had our New Year's Eve day party. In addition, obviously partnering with schools and anybody who really wants to utilize this space, whether it's for schools or community or for birthday parties or anything else. But yes, it's going to be a brand new event space inside of here. And God, we couldn't be any more excited to just give it a fresh, like you said, a fresh coat of paint inside of the gym, and really just utilize the space for something different so everybody can really enjoy it no matter what.
That's right. All of that sounds like so much fun. Great to see the kids getting in on the excitement, especially for New Year's. So a lot of big changes with Swag Kids Gym, and I'm curious, how would you say these new changes help you to stand out among other kids' fitness or enrichment centers in the area?
Well, for us, like just offering basically a brand new opportunity to way the gym could be utilized is something different in and of itself in comparison to other kids' gym centers. And listen, there's so many kids. I think it's absolutely wonderful that people really get the opportunity and choose to take the opportunity to not only go to places, like ours, but other places, because there's such a need for kids being able to have a space and center where they feel comfortable, confident, and move. So, with us opening the Ivory Room and doing new programming, it's just, again, another outlet and an opportunity where people can really bring their kids in, not only to when it's cold, but year-round to our center. But also, we're very unique in a sense where we're able to go out and create the experience of experiencing a gym class anywhere, whether it's virtual, at the school, doing field trips at the school, doing assemblies at the school for kids of all ages, public, private schools. That really what makes us unique. If they can't come to us, we could come to them and create a very valuable experience for them, whether it's a dance or a gym activity or a mix of both. we're in touch and tapped in with so many different cities surrounding West Bloomfield and so many different schools that really helps us stand out, but it also helps us be able to go to where they're at, and it makes it really easy and convenient for the schools and the different communities that we go to be able to bring a swag gym experience to them right to their doorstep or to their school.
Love to hear it, Ralph. Hard work every single day. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the owner and founder of Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield, Ralph Tompkins, about some of the biggest new developments coming with Swag Kids Gym in just a few short weeks. Of course, with all these big changes, Ralph, at the core of Swag Kids Gym are still the indoor fitness classes for all the kids of the community. What role would you say creativity and play-based learning continues to play in your approach to child development at Swag?
Yeah, it's really everything for us. And we know, as we've been around 6 years now, so we've had very consistent programming, but like as a creator of the educational experience through place-based movement, for us, we know that making changes in terms of adding directive music for kids to listen to be able to basically do the movements off the music is something that is super key that we've added into our programming, as well as just honestly just getting the parents really more involved, even with our classes that have some of the older kids, so that they continue to have that shared play experience, not only at the young level, ages 4 and down, but at the older levels, ages 5 and up, because parents still get the opportunity not only to bring their kids here to get taught by us, but also we want to encourage movement, because these parents are role models for the kids. So we want to give them opportunities to not only do it inside of our space, but also give them the opportunity to have homework, so to speak, in terms of physical play and development, and having games and activities to do with their kids at home. So it kind of breaks up the screen time and the TV time, just really just challenging them and charging them to be a pillar in their kids' life in more ways than it's providing for them, also providing the opportunity for them to have play-based movement at home. So that's something that we've really added inside of the gym to really for them to really take it to their home place or anywhere they go to on the playground. Really exciting experience. And we're just so honored to have everybody be able to come to the gym and take something from it different. But we've certainly taken on the challenge of having new music, having new movement, and having different experience for them around the gym to really be excited about going forward.
That's absolutely right. That's a really, really good way to look at things, that there's things for everybody to take away from these classes, not just the kiddos, but the parents themselves. Very, very important to remember. Now, Ralph, you said that Swag has been open for about 6 years at this point. That's a long time. I'm curious, what have you learned along the way about engaging with children and their families?
Well, first of all, it means the world to me that these families really sacrifice their time and give us their energy and give us their most valuable possession, which is their kids. So what I've learned along the way is that it's great to have a constant structure, but it's also super important to keep up with the time, so to speak. So we really, really, really take it serious when it comes to developing new programming and new opportunities for these kids to learn, grow, and develop underneath our space. So the biggest thing I can honestly take away is that bringing the excitement, bringing energy, and bringing consistency of program is one thing, but evolving the programming and giving new programs, giving it a fresh look is equally as important, and staying engaged and staying in front of the community in different ways in terms of being able to give back, whether that's going to the schools and volunteering and being a part of assemblies and field trips, or just showing up, on the entertainment side as a DJ, but still bringing some of the elements that we do inside the Swag, whether it's the music, the movements, or anything else. It's super important to us to just always stay engaged, not only in a gym, but with the community, and bring change to it in a positive way by bringing fresh programming and just consistent energy no matter what.
And that's exactly what you provide, Ralph, every single day for the people of the community. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. Having heard some of the big plans that you've got coming up in the few short weeks with Swag Kids Gym, what are some of your bigger goals for maybe expanding the business, maybe in either new programs, partnerships, maybe even new locations?
Yeah, so for us, like it's really just we're in a great state where our entertainment side has really taken off in terms of being able to do community outreach and provide different things. Now, for us, the constant opportunity for us is to bring in more excellent coaches inside of this facility to where, and then just really solidify our programming even more in terms of making it a franchisable, scalable model. So not only it can go just in different locations in Michigan, but really, across the country and worldwide. And, I have a great back end team behind me, great business partners, great people that work alongside me that really have the same common goal of really hunkering down this model and making it to where we can expand it down. And also, we've really beefed up our presence in terms of having David Thurman, he's been an integral part of our programming. He's really improved being able to showcase our content, because half the battle is not only being great, but being able to showcase it in a way where people can receive it, understand it, and be like, wow, this is something that we really want to be a part of, whether we come to Swag or really have the opportunity to go out to them and basically explain what we do and who we are and showcase it. So, we've really ramped up social media, but our long-term goal, and my goal has always really been to expand and make this a franchisable, scalable model around the world and to different places. So we're working harder than we ever have, and our team has been in place to where our goal is literally to push things forward so where every family across the world and across the country can eventually experience play-based learning via Swag.
I love to hear it. And hey, a great team goes a long way, and it truly does show the amount of success that you guys have had recently. Last question, Ralph. Out of everything, what do you hope is the biggest thing parents and kids take away from their experience at Swag beyond the physical fitness aspect?
Yeah, it's all about community connection, relationship building. Like, the great thing about it, I've been in this game about 12 years, and I can say I have a couple thousand families that I just have been able to really just be able to help connect with other families, as well as really just get to know them. So, like, I've had clients that literally have started with me, and now their kids are either in middle school. I've got former clients with kids that now work at the gym. So just building relationship and community, and just honestly giving them the best version of what we offer so they can be the best version of themselves is something that has always been super important. And literally they're the reason why I do what I do, along with the team that I have. It's like, hey, let's continue to build these relationships within the community, but also get to know them on a personal level. And no matter how long they've stayed with us, whether it's been years or a few months, the thing I want them to take out of this the most is that's like, hey, at the end of the day, you had a great experience with myself and our staff because we gave you the best energy we had. And hopefully that translates into love of exercise, movement, and fitness going forward, not only just in their childhood, but in adulthood as well. And also reinvigorating the parents in terms of like, hey, like, it's super important to not only spend time with your kids, but to build healthy habits and build relationships that go way beyond the gym. And that's something that I know we've done very well and will continue to do within the communities, not only in West Bloomfield, but the surrounding community as well. So it's super exciting for me to do it, and it's always an honor.
I'd imagine so. All very important things to take away. Ralph, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Appreciate you, man. It's always good to see you, and we'll be seeing you very soon down the road as well.
Great conversation with Ralph Tompkins. Amazing to hear of all of the big developments coming soon with Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library has launched a brand new mobile app designed to make library access faster and easier than ever. Users can search the catalog, check item availability, and manage their account directly from their phones. And the West Bloomfield Township Public Library's Digital Services Library Aide, Robbie Pluta, recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us all about the app.
Robbie, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on, as this is a big step for the West Bloomfield Library and many different organizations in our community here in Greater West Bloomfield, and those across communities in southeastern Michigan and other places all around the world are now shifting to this sort of a format where they're taking their resources and they're putting them on an app to provide that extra level of convenience. For the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, what was the main motivation behind taking all these resources that are, of course, in person at your 2 branches and, of course, on your website, now to being in a digital app?
I think you described it there perfectly, in that there was already kind of a need, and we're seeing trends of other institutions and particularly other libraries creating their own apps and digital interfaces for patrons to get these resources on their phones. So I think it was already kind of a trend we saw emerging, and I would get plenty of questions of people asking, do you guys have an app, or can we link my accounts with my kids? So we saw the need was there already.
And so how does the app then enhance the experience that people would have when they go to these 2 branches or when they visit on your still very new and renovated website?
Well, I'm never going to discourage anyone from visiting the library in person because there's so much to see there.
Neither will we.
But I will say that the app works to really consolidate a lot of the key features and key questions that patrons and visitors might have. What are our hours? Can I search for this book? Is there an event going on right now? Is my book ready to be picked up? So it really consolidates it all in one easy place that patrons have access to.
And there's so many resources at the library, Robbie, and so many people love to use the West Acres branch and the main branch to pick up some of those good reads that they want to find, that maybe they don't want to go out to the bookstore and buy another copy of it when it's already available right here in our community. They get their library card. They just want to go there for specific resources. But with all of that being available and so many people having such an affinity for the West Bloomfield Library, there's a little bit of competition there. But this app provides a little bit of help if people want to reserve some of those resources in advance before they head out to one of their branches.
Exactly, yeah. So being able to look in advance before you even visit the library, do you have this book? Is there something going on right now? Being able to carry your barcode with you is something that I know a lot of people were looking for. I would see people constantly trying to shuffle, find which wallet, find which string of the keychain it's on. So being able to know where it is instantly with just a tap of your finger was a convenience a lot of our patrons were already looking for.
Joining us on the Splash Live is Robbie Pluta from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, one of their library digital services aides on today's edition of the program. You can learn more about the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, including their brand new app. Visit them on their website, wblib.org, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram at West Bloom LIB. Robbie, what feedback have you received so far from people that have been asking, hey, do you guys have an app? Do you have an app? And now you do. It's available for people to use. What so far has been the response from the community?
I think overwhelmingly it's been pretty positive from all the patrons that I've spoken to. I would say our barcode feature is one that is a real standout for people, as I mentioned, being able to know where that is instantly, so you don't have to shuffle through your belongings to find it. I would say as well the ability to link other people's accounts in your family or in your household. So if your spouse puts a book on hold and you're running to the library and you're already there, you can check it out for them instead of calling them, getting their library card, waiting for them to come in. I think a lot of people are also eager to see how we integrate in the future with other digital resources we have, like our ebook, e-audiobook software cloud library. So you can still access all that material through the app. It's just on another tab that says ebooks and e-audio. So you can still get that all for free with your library card. It's just like a separate press there that I think people are excited to see.
Now, this is all very exciting, and people love having an app for their local library, especially here in Greater West Bloomfield, where the township and our Tri-Cities love and adore their local library. But not everybody's very tech savvy. They have this idea of, okay, First it was I go to the library to find all these resources. Then I got to learn the website. Now I got to learn an app as well. For those that maybe aren't so tech savvy, how easy is this app to use and to learn?
I think it's particularly easy to use. I think all of our features are labeled very well and in very big text so people can see what exactly am I looking for. There's no menus to navigate through. It's all just through the press of a button that you can get to things. And anything that you would need help looking for, all of our librarians at either West Acres or at Maine are happy and eager to help you out. So I would definitely encourage people, ask at the desk, ask your librarian how you can download the app, how to navigate through it. We're excited to see people embracing this and using it.
This is kind of the way that libraries are going to be operating going forward, Robbie. They got to find new ways to engage local audiences to come into their facility, to engage with their resources. And people want to find those at the same convenience that they would be shopping online for something or researching for a fun event in their community. They're going to do that on the go. They're going to do that on their phones. So how does this help fit into the library's broader digital imagination for the future and how that factors into the continuity of this beloved resource in our community?
I think you laid it out there perfectly in that so much of our lives now have become digitized. Your healthcare is online, your schooling's online, looking for a job is pretty much all online right now. So digital literacy is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. So anything the library can do to help our patrons feel more comfortable in this world is something that we feel obligated to do. We always want to increase people's access and their knowledge in any way we can. And so if this app helps people get more comfortable using other digital resources, that's a step that we want to take. And we've also taken further steps to increase our offerings for technology tutoring and for digital classes at the library. I just taught one the other day about people migrating to Windows 11. So we understand there's a lot of features out there that people are still learning to use and adapting to use, and we want to help facilitate that transition for our patrons.
I'm glad you brought that up too. Robbie Pluta, Digital Services Library Aide with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, is with us on the Splash Live as the West Bloomfield Library has launched its official app. It's available on both Android and Apple app stores and is available for free. All you got to do is log in with your library information to access all of those resources and connect it to your library information so that when you go to the main branch or the West Acres branch, there it is, all right there for you. But as we discussed and you just brought up, there are also those resources, and that's a big part of what you do at the library to help those that maybe aren't caught up with the times and the digital technology to bridge some of those gaps too. So how does that also factor in now as the library moves toward more of these digital resources being available and it being more critical to people being able to continue to have that ease of access to these resources they've become so accustomed to?
Yeah, so we've been noticing, especially in our trends, that our checkout numbers for digital materials are just going through the roof. It's easily the most in-demand service that we offer now. And so we wanted to use this app as an opportunity to showcase a lot more of that too. So you can link directly into our primary app that we get ebooks and e-audiobooks through called Cloud Library. All you need is your library card and you get access to many, many titles for free. I constantly have people, when I show them this, they so this is all for free? And I'm like, yes, anything you can get through your local library is for free. And in addition to that, we have language learning services through our app, Mango Languages. You have access to many different investment strategies as well through our online resources. You can access Ancestry in person in the library if you're doing family genealogical research. The sky's the limit, basically.
And it's all accessible to you with your mobile devices. Android App Store, Apple App Store. The West Bloomfield Township Library now has its very own official app. You can learn more about it on their Facebook page at West Bloom LIB or on WBLIB.org. Robbie, as we conclude today, what maybe are some other new innovations from the digital technology side that the library is now starting to implement or maybe having on the docket in the near future?
Ooh, well, I can't speak too much. Don't want to give too much away, but One thing that I can say is that I believe in January we are starting a open hours resume workshop that I will be assisting with. So I know in particular a lot of people come to the library with questions about how to set up their resume, what are people looking for, how do you fill out the online applications that like LinkedIn, Indeed are all using now. So we're going to be doing like an open office hours style resume assistance starting in January. So people should keep an eye out for that.
Well, that, folks, is what we in the television business call a teaser. That means we're just going to have Robbie and others from the library have to join us on The Splash that much more often as we get into the coming months and start the new year in 2026. Robbie, thank you as always for your time.
Very appreciated. Thank you for having me.
Lots to look forward to with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library within the next few months. Big thank you to Robbie for joining us here on The Splash Live. School bus safety continues to be at the forefront of everyone's mind as the school year continues, and even more so as the roads start to become affected by colder temperatures and ice. Officer James Dennis of the Keego Harbor Police Department joined us on The Splash recently for this important discussion on navigating through that early morning commute.
Officer Dennis, thanks for being on the show today.
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not bad.
Good to have you on to talk about this. This has been a growing concern. It sort of caught a little bit of fire on local social media in Keego Harbor about particularly motorists during the morning and afternoon rush not paying attention or straight up ignoring buses that are stopped on Orchard Lake Road, dropping our kids off from their local school or picking them up for the school day. And so as this became a rising concern, how has the Keego Harbor Police Department stepped in to help mitigate this issue, not only to inform motorists of what they're responsible for when school buses are nearby, but most importantly, to keep those bus stops safe for our local kids and families?
There's a difference between just hiding out and giving people tickets for it and actually being seen. So we try and be as visible as possible as we can with a patrol car on top of the bus. A lot of times we find during rush hour, people are rushing to work. So it's normally not just they're passing the school bus, they're also speeding and there's other infractions on top of it. So we're just out there enforcing it as much as we can.
In the regular enforcement, too, you usually will have officers nearby our local schools. That was definitely the case previously each and every day when Roosevelt Elementary School was active in the city of Keego Harbor. It was not atypical to see even a squad car parked in the middle of the street there in the turn lane with their lights on, just to raise that awareness that maybe it's time to slow down, pay better attention to the rules of the road. So when there are issues like this that arise, and parents do have concerns about the safety of their kids because motorists are blowing by stopped buses with their stop signs on, how does that then change the paradigm for the local police like yours in Keego Harbor for maybe increasing that patrol?
So Keego, we're pretty small. Normally we have one officer on duty. So what we try and do is mitigate and hit the bus stops. We've teamed up with West Bloomfield School District. Sylvan Lake is also assisting us on this. And the main problem areas like on Orchard Lake Road and Maddie Lane, where you have oncoming traffic that doesn't see, we tend to hit that every bus stop if we can. If there's a call that comes out that's priority, obviously we have to answer that. But I tend to look at this like there is, property crime and things like that, but kids are not replaceable. So if we can be there, we're going to be there always.
And it's kind of an oddity, too, in our local area, not just in Keego, but in the rest of the Tri-Cities and in West Bloomfield, that we have a bus stop right in the heart of a main thoroughfare during those rush hour times in the morning and the evening on Orchard Lake Road, two lanes going in one direction, one in the other, typically at any point of the day. That's got to add some factor into this. Maybe motorists don't understand the rules of the road when it comes to buses fully stopped, even on a main thoroughfare like that, if they're on one of the far lanes on the right side. So even if they are all the way over on the right side, they're parked in front of maybe the Lodge or other places on Orchard Lake Road going through Keego Harbor, and they have their stop lights on. What should motorists be aware of when they see those lights come up and to understand that they need to help make sure these kids are safe, but also that they're not going to put themselves in a position to pick up a pretty significant violation on the road?
Yeah. From what we've seen, there's a maybe a lack of communication, but you have to stop even on oncoming. And the normal excuse from what I get is people saying that on a main road like that, they didn't realize they had to stop when they're on oncoming. I've even heard it's a divided street southbound on Cass in the neighborhood because it's divided by grass in the middle. People in oncoming think that they don't have to stop, and that's just not the case. A lot of times too, in fact, in the last two that we stopped, the drivers didn't have licenses. So it's kind of hard to know the laws of the road when you don't have a license.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. And there's other factors too that play into even the patrol and the enforcement of these bus stop areas when there's so much traffic on Orchard Lake Road. What are some of the common issues that maybe make it a little bit difficult to enforce, particularly when it comes to ticketing these individuals and tracking them down? If someone does see somebody blowing by, even if it's one of your officers, what sort of challenges arise in identifying and stopping drivers who do illegally pass these buses at any point in our day?
Normally, if we're there, we're going to stop them. We're monitoring it. We see them, we stop them. If we are on a call or something like that, I know West Bloomfield, I've been told by the bus drivers that West Bloomfield, some of the buses have cameras on them, and a West Bloomfield officer in West Bloomfield will actually write a ticket for the bus stop violation. That's not something we've grouped up with West Bloomfield School District because there's only certain buses that have the cameras, and you have a conflict of the bus driver trying to identify the actual driver of the vehicle and things like that. So the best thing we can do is just continue to be proactive, and there's 6 bus stops total off of Maddie Lane and Orchard Lake Road, which is really the problem spot. And we try and literally be there every single time. I was there this morning. They had late start, 2 hours late. I'm literally missing a stop right now, and my detective is out there.
And so, Officer Dennis, we want to get you back out there as soon as possible, so we'll only take a couple more minutes of your time. But as you have these issues arise, and especially given the place that this is in Keagle Harbor, where this bus stop is, has there been any discussion with the West Bloomfield School District or other nearby districts that may have stops in similar situations nearby that affect our local kids of maybe moving those stops to other locations?
My knowledge, at least for the one that's in our city, the Orchard Lake and Maddie Lane, there's not really anywhere you can move it because most of the children come off of southbound Maddie Lane at Orchard. It's a dead-end street. The bus doesn't have the room to turn around down there, which is why it stops on Orchard Lake. The next stop would be way far up the road, or we'd have kids crossing the street on Orchard Lake, which is an even bigger problem. So, I mean, at this point in time, us and Sylvan have been attacking it pretty hard at that spot. And then I actually just met up with a deputy from Oakland County Sheriff's Office today that's part of their traffic unit, and he was even helping us today.
And so drivers need to be aware of these rules. Hopefully this will help to raise some of that awareness, and they just need to ultimately be more careful, especially when they see those school buses around, assume that kids are going to be getting off of those buses, and even, as you just said, crossing that street. But for those that decide not to play along with the rules and make these violations, obviously they're already in process of being caught quite significantly in the city of Keagle Harbor in recent weeks. But for those that aren't aware, just how serious of a violation is it if you pass a school bus when it is at a stop?
It is going to be a $500 fine. It's a lot, and 3 points.
Yeah.
And we're strict on this. When it comes to the kids in our city, we're not playing games on tickets. Other things you can write warnings on, speed, stuff like that. But whatever we got to do to protect these kids out here, and if that's writing big tickets, that's writing big tickets. We have no problem doing that if they're going to disobey the stop signs on the bus.
In a small town like Keagle, small towns like Keagle, Sylvan, even Orchard Lake, those Tri-Cities, really going to have to go out of your way to get yourself a traffic violation. That about the worst way possible you can do so. Officer Dennis, before we let you go, anything else that the community should be aware of on this matter, or lasting messages from the Keagle Harbor Police Department to the greater community about this particular area of Orchard Lake Road?
Just be safe, drive safe, be vigilant. I know early in the morning it's easier to see the bus when it's still dark out because of the flashing lights on the bus and everything else. It's the later hours of the day, people rushing in at 8:30, that we have a big problem. Just know we're out there, we're enforcing it, and if we stop you, you're getting a ticket.
And it's good information to keep in mind, too, as we approach daylight saving time, and those days are going to get darker and darker later on when kids are going to be getting to those bus stops. Officer Dennis, thank you for your time and insight today.
Thank you.
Important things to remember during that all-important morning commute. We appreciate James Dennis for taking the time to talk with us here on the Splash Live. In recent years, there has been a rise in the use of artificial intelligence, and that can come with a lot of pros, but also a lot of cons, including recent AI scams that have been taking place all throughout America, even some that have taken place here in West Bloomfield. The West Bloomfield Police Department has been well on top of these cases, and we recently welcomed Officer Phil Pacheco to talk with us on the Splash Live about what residents can look out for.
Detective Pacheco, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, good morning.
Glad to have you on to talk about this. Good morning to you as well. It's an important topic, certainly on the minds of a lot of people in our community as AI becomes more ubiquitous from a technological standpoint with everyday people in our community. It also becomes even more advanced with scammers. At this time, what are some of the key points people need to be looking out for? What are some of the ways that scammers are using AI to target everyday people here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond?
What we've seen recently over the past couple of years is that, really the most vulnerable people in our community, which those are, the elderly. We do have a large elderly population. They can be very easily fooled by this. So one thing that we're seeing that's being used by criminals to, scam the elderly or trick them is they'll receive a phone call, and they are so adamant that this sounded just like my grandson, my son, my daughter, whoever. This sounded just like them, and they needed help. They needed money. I needed to bond them out of jail. And we've had our residents here lose close to $100,000 and everything in between because they do fall victim to this.
And so what are some of those key ways that people can tell the difference between this is really my son, my daughter, my grandchild, a close friend, whomever it may be in their life, versus someone using technology to spoof a very similar way of speaking?
Well, I think it starts with, if you do have a elderly family member, it just starts with education. And I think the easiest thing that you can do and implement is some kind of like safe word, like a code word. But first educating them on like this extremely urgent phone call that they may get when, hey, I need money right now, this needs to happen. Being able to recognize that is step one, like that's a little off. And then step two would be, okay, what is the code word for this? And it could, could be anything unique to your family. And, obviously if it is your family, they're going to know that code word. If it's not, then that you're, likely being attempted to be victimized at that time.
And these are scams that are just starting to be more on the rise, more commonplace across many communities. They target people that are typically in elder populations, may not be as technologically savvy, and may not have the media literacy that others in younger populations have. But that doesn't mean that people in younger demographics aren't also susceptible to this. Detective Pacheco, usually that manifests itself in the way of misinformation or disinformation, especially on social media. What are some of the common ways that is manifested nowadays?
With the ability to take somebody's face, like we all love posting pictures of our family, our children, things that we do, that we share with, the people that we know and love on social media. But, the technology exists to take that person's face and, use it in a criminal way. It could be for extortion. It could be for very other, horrible activities, especially when it comes to a minor or a child. So you just need to be careful what you're putting out there. And I think educating yourself on what somebody can do, with your face, with your voice, things like that is step one for every family. You need to talk about this as a family because it is real and it is happening.
And it goes back to some of those privacy settings that you really want to be mindful of. Who you're also bringing into some of these social media can also play a big impact in that. Do you know this person? Do they look familiar to you? If not, probably shouldn't have access to your information, especially now with the advent of AI, and it's certainly going to get a lot more advanced as time goes on. Detective Phil Pacheco is with us from the West Bloomfield Police Department. More helpful advice and safety information from our local PD can be found on Facebook at West Bloomfield PD. Detective Pacheco, from the law enforcement standpoint, what new maybe training methods are being brought in or may be employed soon for our local departments like yours to help also counteract some of these negative effects that AI may be having on communities like West Bloomfield?
It's funny, I was just looking at that today, like, hey, what's available? Companies are putting this training out for law enforcement. Really, what I found was how law enforcement can use AI to, for administrative purposes or even down to report writing to make the job easier, which, agree with it or not, it's there, it's happening. I think that, I guess to answer your question, I'm not really aware of any training that exists right now or that I've seen recently that would, give us some kind of investigative tools to investigate this better. I think that we here at this police department and the investigators that we have here in the Detective Bureau, we're all pretty aware of how this stuff works. We're younger, we grew up with this, we know kind of what the future holds for AI. And
you can check out our full interview with Officer Phil Pacheco on civiccentertv.com. But that's going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for making this show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.